Let us rain the cold hammer of justice upon the racists in their castles. With your support, we will send the hammer of the people's will crashing through the windows of Mr. Krabs' House of Servitude. We will dismantle oppression board by board. We'll saw the foundation of big business in half, even if it takes an eternity. Let's put the war back in Warcraft, gentlemen. This is what I like to see. Yes. Yes. Yes! It's all going perfectly.
I will port us to Stoneheart.
Yeah, port me, bitch. That's right. Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's fucking go. My blood is pumping. Let's go. Let's. I don't even really know what I was expecting, to be honest. Once again, fate limited my ability to bring the hammer of retribution upon those who shut out this feeble goblin. Darkness became all-encompassing. It was a nothingness like, well, nothing I had seen before, though when I opened my eyes next, I was not met with the familiar sight of Orgrimmar, but rather with the harsh, forlorn landscape of an alien world. Flowerstain the Fabulous had been sent past the boundaries of substantiality, and stood in the place of ethereal judgment. Our ambiguous hero, against all odds, had been sent to the Shadowlands. But more importantly, they had been sent to the Maw. Is that a good intro? Is that an interesting enough melodrama to keep this shit going? So, Shadowlands dropped, and with it came a heap of fucking stupid stories. And no, I'm not referring to the storylines in the game, though those are pretty groovy too, but rather the absurdly dumb shit that happened to me throughout the first week of launch. Stories involving Zavala gamers, Disconnections, Lothric, and Redemption. And not in that order either. And we'll get to all of that, we will, I promise, but this tale starts elsewhere. It begins in a place far away, in the junkyard of Astral Society, where our goblin heroine was thrown to after a failure to lay siege to Stormwind. This story begins in the Maw. Heaps of metal line the dusted over paths that lead only to melancholy. A watchful tower extends eternally in front of the sundered sky, staring ever so intently at me. No matter where I walk, where I hide, I feel eyes on the back of my neck. This is the Maw, the equivalent to hell. A place without any real form, rhyme, or reason. Or at least that's what the lore states. A place where only the worst of the worst go. This is where Hitler would go. This is where fucking Stalin is. This is where Mr. Rogers is, you know. It's the place where the worst of the worst go. It's ruled over by the jailer, or as I refer to him as, Satanic Handsome Squidward. But yeah, the Maw. It's just Mordor. But I digress. The Shadowlands introduction quests were very basic shit, and I won't bore you with them too much. You basically just walk from point A to point B a few times and listen to redundant dialogue for about 30 minutes before you can actually start playing the game. The aesthetic of the Maw was groovy at least, and it felt daunting and foreboding. Even while in stealth, there are mobs that patrol the roads who can see through you and tear you apart without any second thought. The whole place actually felt scary, and around every corner there was something new and interesting. Especially so since I didn't watch any beta footage like all you cucks, or look at any guides or videos about Shadowlands prior to the launch, simply because I actually like seeing shit for myself and playing the video game. I know, isn't that fucking crazy? However, as you traverse the dark parking lot of the universe, it's hammered into your head that you will never be able to escape it, that you are here forever. No one escapes the Maw. Nobody leaves the Maw. You are here forever. Okay guys, let me just walk through this portal and hey guys, what's up? I guess since I'm the player character, I just have way more undeniable plot armor than the fucking lore characters, huh? I left the dark realm behind, stained by the stench of tortured souls, and came face to face with the cosmic architecture of eternal dream people. Enter Oribos, a vast cosmic city of otherworldly scale that just kind of floats in the middle of nothing and everything at the same time. It's the place where places go to be like, hey, that's a place in the middle of all places. What a place. Like, look at the fucking sky here, dude. This is like what the sky would look like if my conscience was materialized as a place. It's so fucking banging. I can't stress it enough. This is like what it would look like if you ate cotton candy with multiple psychedelics infused into the very fibers of it. This is a, dare I say, this is the Fresh Prince of Skies. TLDR, it cool. But yeah, Oribos. Yeah, it's named after the ancient phrase Ouroboros, which refers to a serpent eating its own tail. That looks like this, by the way. when the fuck will it finish? Spoiler, it doesn't. Much like Oribos, it's a giant tower that goes on forever and ever 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 and ever. Oh, and ever. I almost forgot that one. This place isn't only just an infinite tower that floats in the middle of nowhere and everywhere, but it's also the capital of the afterlife. Inside, there are shops and vaults, forges and restaurants. And at the top of this infinite tower sits the Arbiter. And boy, did I have a bone to pick with them. Pun fully intended. Why the fuck am I here, yo? 1 minute, I'm letting the built-up rage of a neglected sales worker out with 30 or so other people's blades in my control, and the next I'm in the capital of the afterlife. I was gonna lead such a banging raid on Stormwind. I was gonna bring about a genocide the likes you only see once a week. So what the fuck happened, eh? I had many questions. Questions only the Arbiter had answers for. One thing, though. Who the fuck is the Arbiter? Apparently, the Arbiter is a judge. And when someone dies and their soul goes to the Shadowlands, the Arbiter is the one who takes a look at them and is like,
okay, let's see where the fuck your soul's gonna go, pal.
and it sends it to one of supposedly infinite realms that are scattered throughout the Shadowlands. But for the sake of everything, I will not be listing all the infinite realms' names. Instead, I'll be listing the realms that we have access to currently. So the 5 parts of the Shadowlands are pretty self-explanatory. We got Tumblr, Deviant Art, Downtown Bus Stop, and Christianity. Oh yeah, and Mordor. More on them later. Up the cum elevator I went until I was face to face with the robot god. However, there was one issue. Yeah, the Arbiter was fucking dead. And that, I guess, is what ties me into why I'm here. The way things are going was pretty fucking weird. The Arbiter was like,
hey, let's put the fucking souls in their respected places so that we can have order.
and then out of nowhere, this big red ball of fucking death just came out of nowhere, and the Arbiter died, and the Arbiter just stopped working because they died. So now all the souls, instead of going to Tumblr, Deviant Art, Downtown Bus Stop, or Christianity, are all going straight to the mall, and that's pretty bad. That means that the magical dust that drives all souls, which is called anima, not anime, believe me, I made that mistake too, is all going straight to the mall, and the rest of the Shadowlands is now devoid of it. The Arbiter being dead means that basically all the realms of the afterlife are now craving this anima shit and losing their minds. Anima is like what water is to a plant, what food is to a human, what meth is to a junkie. If they don't get this anima shit, they're gonna lose their minds. The realms of the afterlife are at each other's throats. Conflicts are rising. Shit is wilting. The afterlife is somehow dying. But where the fuck is it gonna go after its life is over? We're already in the afterlife! The souls of the moral, the strong, the sinful, all of them are competing out of fear of disappearing. And so the Dreamcatcher people are like, hello, yes, I have many wares, but please go fucking do something about the Shadowlands, thanks! And Flowerstain is like,
What? No.
great, thank you! Now with the task of fixing the entirety of the fucking afterlife, getting anima flowing once more, and putting shit back in motion, I reconsider my life choices that led me to this point. Before I could ponder it enough to send myself back, however, I was on a tapeworm sailing through the Terra Pegasus portal across a sea of eternity to Jesus Land. For many, that's the average Sunday morning, but for me, this was quite the breathtaking endeavor. And with little time to reconsider, and no time at all to take it all in, I was set on the path to putting the multiverse back in check. Enter Bastion. Pure fields of blooms and grasses, hills of silver and mountains floating in the place of clouds. A land based on chivalry. And who's that amongst it all? The Zavala Gaming Angels. TM, also known as the Kyrian.
Hey, we're the Kyrian.
They stand tall and proud in their white gold temples, watching over as the drought eats Bastion from the inside out, unsure of what to do next. So why was I sent here then? What the fuck's going on? What's happening? Well, I'm glad I asked. Let's get down to ass tax. So this is Bastion, also known as Bastion. And when morally righteous people kick the bucket, as one would say, or as others may put it, hit the hay for the last time, or as I prefer it, fucking die, they head here, a place for the honorable and the morally just. When a soul comes here, however, they are forced to strip themselves of their past, of their self, of their memories, and their emotions, and are instead replaced with their pure, subconscious morality. They become Zavalas, and are dyed blue by the gamer dye. However, some of these blue folk were like, hey, you know what? Ego death just isn't my cup of tea. Let's rise up and keep our emotions and our memories and shit and become purple emos or something. And then a bunch of them became purple emos or something. Naturally, the blue Zavalos who carried over peacefully and the purple emo kiddos fucking hate each other and are killing each other somehow, for their anima. And so now Flowerstain is here, sent by those who speak for the Arbiter, to try and talk these traitors out of their emo phase and at all costs prevent the conflict that formed between the blue people and the purple people from exploding into a large-scale attrition of egoless morals and conscious self. This is an MMO, but it's beginning to feel more like a subplot involving Shinji Ikari's Freudian layers of sexuality. And all things considered, I kinda like it. And also, with all things considered, Flowerstain was certainly the worst person in the entire multiverse one could have sent to try and prevent conflict from arising. The otherworldly hands of the Shadowlands quite literally grabbed her in the midst of a hate-spewed, genocidal speech of the ages, after all. Matter of fact, some people have even gone as far to call me a sociopath. I'm not a fucking sociopath. Look, I'll fucking prove it. I'll take a 100% certified real online test that is 100% real, and certified 100% real to show you that I'm not a 100% real certified sociopath 100%. So I want to set the record straight. Sociopathy test. By clicking I agree, okay. It's wrong to cheat because it's unfair to other people. No, it would be distressing if I succeeded because someone else failed. No, a fraudulent scheme can be really impressive. Of course it is. If someone is foolish enough to get tricked, they probably had it coming. Yep, I prioritize myself above others. Sometimes it can be fun to toy with other people's emotions. If my behavior or something I say makes someone suffer emotionally, I feel guilty. Not really. What? That can't be right. Scores in this range are above average compared to those typically found in the general population and may be cause for concern. This test was a fucking scam. It's not my fault if the website is shit. This is fake news. It's pushing an agenda. I am not a sociopath. Do not listen to these lies. Through the little contemplation that was allowed, Flowerstain stepped forward and agreed to solve the issue at hand. The first of many more. What else was she to do, after all? She was stuck here. Fucking come on! Okay, all dramatic shit out of the way now. The quest and story of this place was actually fucking sick. I unironically love the setup and storyline that this zone built. You get there and you're all like, hey guys, I need to talk to your leader because there's some wacky shit going on with the treacherous purple emos and stuff. And the blue people are all like, no? No? Like, hello? You can't talk to our leader yet. You're just some random fucking dude. Go question your morals and kill your emotions, and then maybe we could talk. But you see, the joke's on them. I do that every week. I'm downright meticulous when it comes to my consumption of dimethyltryptamine and inducing otherworldly delirium that kills my sense of self and morals. This is just a walk in the park, boys. I even took off my clothes and prayed in a dark, dank basement with some short dude. And again, the joke's on them. This again falls right into my expertise. While you were busy having a job and shit. The midget outside Wendy's who chows down on seashells every Wednesday had taken a liking to me and taught me much about the spiritual enlightenment of Buddhism. The immersion is unmatched. However, eventually I came face to face with the submerged smudges of my subconscious. I had spent years and years burying these, and quite frankly, I don't respect an MMO bringing them to the surface. That's for my therapist to figure out and for me to accept years down the line. Regardless, I fucking murdered those subconscious emotions and then boom. Ego death. Kinda. The Zavala gaming angels determined I was now slightly cooler than I was before, but didn't yet trust me enough to talk to their grand leader and tackle the problems at hand. They gave me a somewhat groovy ability that I don't actually remember, and instead told me to go through the gruesome trials at the Temple of Purity, which is attacked. Oh no! And then I was told to manage the rehab center down the road, and talk to the emotionally disturbed Kyrians who were addicted to feeling shit. The energy here was like that of a public forum from 2009 where everyone had sparkly Sasuke profile pictures. Please, I love feeling things. It's really cool to feel shit. Shut the fuck up, Phil! It seems the conflict had already exploded. Ah, shit. The purple emos who turned against the idea of ego death deemed themselves the Forsworn. No, not the Reachman clad in skulls from Skyrim, but a different Forsworn. The edgier Forsworn. But I guess I was giving the blue people rehab in a way too cool manner, cause then I fell out of the world. Yes, you heard it right. During the quest line, I fell out of the fucking world. Between a rock and a hard place. I fell through the fucking world! But it's fine, right? I'll die, I'll respawn, right? That's usually how this shit goes, right? Yeah. Nope! Disconnected. I tried locking it back in and...
Hey, disconnected!
Okay, maybe this time I'm gonna...
Hey, disconnected!
Alright, it seems I'm stuck in a time loop of... okay, maybe this time...
Hey, disconnected!
Are you fucking kidding me? Is this for what I did to Dundee?
Hey, disconnected!
Fuck you, Dundee.
Hey, disconnected!
Man. Don't mind me, I'm not trying to lie. Log in!
Hey, disconnected!
Fuck! Time and time again, I tried to log back into the game, but it seemed I was stuck in an eternal time loop of Falling through the world, disconnecting, falling through the world, disconnecting, over and over and over and over. Yeah, it was Oribos all over again, except this time I was the butt end of the fucking joke, yeah. Right. So, I decided to go to Blizzard support. Logging back in over and over again only to be disconnected was not going to help anything. I went to Blizzard support and I made a ticket. But do you think 1 ticket was enough? You think 2 tickets was enough? Motherfucker, it was launch night, and after only 2 hours I was practically banned for slipping through the fucking ground. 2 tickets wasn't enough. I stepped that shit up. 3? 4? Nah, bitch. I made 10 motherfucking tickets in 10 motherfucking seconds and sent them all to Blizzard at once. And I waited nearly an hour before finally receiving a response from a game master and getting put back to a different part of the map. Luckily, no queues, but I wasn't really expecting any on my dead-ass server anyways. Someone please play with. After I was finally able to continue the questline, I continued forth with my violent therapy sessions. As my assault on the edgier Forsworn continued, I was taken up way up high and fought the supposed leader of the attack, the corrupted emo Zavala, Lasonia. The battle was actually cool too, zooming around on the back of angels, slamming bells and shit. But to be honest, I do feel bad for Lasonia though, really I do. I hope she gets Bell soon. Man, we fragment Lasonia into tiny pieces, and learn through her fragmented memories and thoughts that their next attack was going to be on the Temple of Courage. However, it wasn't just the corrupted Zavala gamers that were going to attack. Fucking Maldraxxus or some shit, the land of the Mal. After learning this news, I am finally deemed cool by the Zavala gamers, and am granted a meeting with their leader. I am grabbed rather roughly and flown to the Archon, who is way up high in this super fucking cool floating temple, and finally I am able to talk to her. It was here that I learned that if an angel is carrying you, you can look up their skirt. Yeah, you remember all that lore backing up why I became a goblin in episode 1? Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, maybe being short ain't so bad. I sure enjoy the view. The giant armadas of necropolises flew overhead, bringing forth destruction to the blue boys and gals of Bastion, raining down green fire and even greener brimstone right from the downtown bus stop of the multiverse. And so the Zavala gaming leader, the Archon, was like,
Alright, yeah, okay, you're cool now, so go fucking stop that shit, please, thanks.
And then I went and I stopped that shit by doing something. That something being ethereal warfare. And slowly I took back the Temple of Courage. It was a grand battle. Many lives were not lost because we're already in the afterlife, but it was a grand battle regardless. Blood was spilled, ashes were blown in the air, and shit blew up. It was fucking crazy. And it ended up being Maldraxxus, another part of the Shadowlands, who came to attack Bastion to harvest any remaining anima, that anime power that everyone's craving for. But I was there to stop their attack. That's right, me, Flowerstain the Mawwalker, the hero, the champion. So what do I get as a reward?
Alright, thanks for helping defend Bastion. Now go to Maldraxxus and try and understand why the fuck they attacked us, because that shit was really weird. Yeah. Alright, see ya.
Wait, that's it?
Yeah, fuck off. And quit looking up my angel skirts, bitch.
Hey yo, what the f-
Forests of fleshy mushrooms, rivers of plagued mucus, cities built of bone and floating necropolises above. A realm of greens and blacks, and all the shades of the shadow cast in between. If it had a stench, I reckon it would smell of rotted bacteria colonies in the pantry of an abandoned home. Around every corner was a blemish. The ground would breathe. The rocks would cough. And even the sky looked to be wheezing as the wind blew. This is the place a soul would go if they served a life of strength and valor above all else. Morality is set aside, and the souls who come here after life are judged merely on their deeds of battle. It's the militaristic powerhouse of the Shadowlands, a realm where the souls of soldiers and generals hail to afterlife to eternally defend the afterlife. So why in fuck's name did they attack Bastion then? Well, that's why I'm here. I think it's actually kind of impressive how much of a stark contrast Maldraxxus was in comparison to the pure heaven-like world of Bastion, and how smoothly the transition was done between the two foils. Hey Blizzard, really, the dichotomy here is fucking cool. Have a rare good shit, you good man, from me, you good man, good shit. I misread that. Okay. Upon arriving in the desolate, war-torn Plaguelands, I learned that Maldraxxus is split up into 5 ruling houses, and not all the houses voted in favor of attacking Bastion. We have the House of the Chosen, which contains the strongest souls and the most wicked ghost army imaginable. This is the house the player allies with. Wow! We got the House of Eyes, which was filled with spies and intel gatherers. But when I arrived in the Shadowlands, the house had already collapsed. Went from the House of Eyes to the House of Died. We got the House of Plagues. Wait. Plagues? Plague alert! Plague alert! Get your fucking mask on! So the House of Plagues... So the House of No, fuck, I actually can't fucking breathe. So the House of Plagues was filled with plague bringers and apothecaries dead set on creating poxes and viruses to use in chemical warfare. The House of Constructs, which builds shit. And no, not like Bob the Builder's head ass. They create monsters and other undead abominations out of the corpses of the fallen. You know, fun shit. And finally, the House of Rituals, which is filled with liches and necromancers. This is the place where dark magic and shit comes from, but I think, I don't... So out of these 5 houses, the House of Constructs and the House of Rituals are the bad guys. Duh. Because those are the 2 houses that attack Bastion for anima. You see, all 5 of the houses used to be allied and in service to the great leader who lived in the center of Maldraxxus. But he disappeared for some fucking reason, and then everyone got pissed and a civil war started. My theory is that they heard the leaked theme song of Seinfeld 2 and lost their shit. So mad. If you somehow aren't already aware, every person who has heard the theme song of Seinfeld 2 has actually fucking killed someone due to losing their mind. Oh yeah, you don't believe me? You don't think that the Seinfeld 2 theme song is that shit that it can make you go insane and kill someone? Yeah, you don't think it can? That's because you only think about yourself. Fucking bitch. Yeah, you be the judge. Fucking cunt. I'm sorry, I'm just so mad now that I've heard that fucking song. I have to go inflict pain in something weaker than me. Here, I'll play it for you. Take a listen.
Wow, hey, that drum roll suddenly makes me want to fucking start a war. I'm so pissed off.
Pardonius. But I came to learn that it wasn't the Seinfeld 2 theme song that started this civil conflict. Supposedly, those 2 houses are just so starved of anima that they were like, alright, let's ally with the Maw and just fucking attack everything and take the anima from that shit, yo. Oh well. Man, I just wanted to attack Stormwind because they didn't buy my fucking jokes. How the fuck did I end up in all of this? Anyways, I was tasked by the House of the Chosen to get to the throne of their departed leader to find a message he left behind, in hopes of calming down the civil war and better understanding and stopping the conflict between realms. And what do we gotta do for that, baby? Well, the task is very simple. Call me King George III and slap my ass with a frozen pancake. Or actually, no, scratch it, a frozen fucking waffle, because we gotta go find 5 pieces of a fucking rune blade. No, not a rune sword from... No, not a rune sword from RuneScape. A magical rune blade. And then we gotta use that shit to open this big ass door that's between this guy's giant legs. I know, it sounds like the plot to a Shakespearean themed gay porno, but I assure you it's not going in that direction. Believe me, I was hoping for that too, but as they say, sometimes you get it, and sometimes you fucking don't. Martin Luther King Jr. Each house had a chapter to itself in the questing experience here, and each one, despite having the same backdrop, felt oddly unique. I was gonna say fresh, but there's nothing fresh about this place at all. It's fucking gross. Maldraxxus is like Chernobyl and Fusionfall's awkward redheaded child that sits alone at the family picnic every Sunday. But I digress. The House of Plagues was my favorite simply due to all the aesthetic-ass plague doctor masks and this little-ass blob named Kevin. They made it all worth it. However, Flowerstain felt almost as out of place here as she felt in Bastion. Neither the place of the honorable nor the place of strength were welcoming to this feeble flower fairy. The only thoughts that were in this goblin's head, however, were thoughts of a failed genocide and punchlines to skeleton puns, but they were soon replaced with thoughts of how much she stuck out. That is, until she drank the last drops of her Noggenfogger elixirs, turned into a skeleton, and rode a random-ass dead horse she found through the fields of fleshy mushrooms and along the banks of plagued mucus rivers. This is both extremely unsettling and exceptionally hilarious. But in truth, I think that's just a valid description for everything I create. In due time, I acquired all the pieces of the rune blade and delved into the depths of the Maw again to retrieve Alexandros Morgraine, the leader of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. No, not those ones, the other ones. Yeah, those ones. Yep. The Ashbringer, crafter of the Ashbringer, a sword named after him! The Ashbringer! Because of its capability of Get this. Bringing ash! Hence its name, the Ashbringer! A quote from the Ashbringer, crafter of the Ashbringer, bringer of ash. So yeah, and then the giant door between this guy's legs gets under attack out of nowhere, and so together we storm the seat of Maldraxxus to try and uncover where their leader went, why chaos spread across Maldraxxus, and why the House of Rituals and the House of Constructs allied with the Maw and attacked Bastion. The climactic culmination of sitting through this radioactive cesspool for hours, and all that sits inside is a single fucking rock! Are you serious? The blade glows as I place it atop the stone, and the voice of the big guy whose legs I just crawled through is all like,
Yo, welcome. Let me tell you about what the fuck is going on, man. So the rulers of the Shadowlands are the Eternal Ones. We are all siblings. It's tight as fuck. But Handsome Squidward is some bad shit. Trademark. And so we're all like, yeah, fuck that guy, man. You can go to the Maw. So now he's placed that he's banished. He's like, man, fuck, this sucks. My siblings are so shit. I hate this. And now he's really pissed off and he's gonna try and get revenge. So, you gotta go tell my siblings that he's coming to the Shadowlands so that we can protect the corpse of the Arbiter from getting destroyed and shit, and I don't know.
okay, cool. So the jailer, Handsome Squidward, is the big bad. You know what? I didn't see that coming whatsoever, dude. That's crazy. Wow. Crazy. He's the Obito to my Naruto, the Nachonius to my Sammy. So what the fuck do I do now?
Get the fuck out of here and go tell the other two realms of the Shadowlands to quit their weird shit and unite, you stupid moron.
And what if I don't want to?
Fuck you.
And so, with a message now in hand, I was sent like the courier from Skyrim to the Winter Queen of Ardenweald. Except unlike the courier from Skyrim, I was mortal and still very vulnerable. I longed for power equivalent to the courier of Skyrim, the being that inspired many religious teachings and universal ideologies.
Nope. Sorry. Nothing.
Divine ambition personified. How I crave such power. Only then will we be able to truly tackle this multiversal problem. So anyways, with my head held confusingly high and a sense of never being able to return, I am thrown out of Maldraxxus on an angelic tapeworm through the anus of space, and am then shot out into the realm of Ardenweald, the objective best zone ever made in World of Warcraft. Now, this may come as a shocker to some of you, given my exceptionally masculine build and overwhelming Chad aura, but Ardenweald quickly found its spot in my heart as the single prettiest video game zone I've ever been to. And yes, I'm saying that and fully standing behind it. Even in the same world as the Crystal Caverns from Dark Souls 1, Pora Alinu, and the Exodar farmlands from Terra, Ardenweald just takes the fucking cake. Or rather, it takes the whole fucking bakery and monopolizes cakes universally. I won't lie when I say I literally cried a little when I saw Ardenweald for the first time. Like little droplets of soy exited my cute-ass eyes and fell into my soft-ass cheeks. I'm not even kidding. I actually fucking cried. Like, it's not a bit. There's no meme. It was like getting fucking curb stomped by emotion, just wailed out of nowhere, just with a force of unspeakable power, just... Everything about this place just screamed me. The fairies and spirits most of all, from the mischievous brigands to the playful tree folk. The color scheme was fucking astonishing too, the sparkling pinks and blues and purples creating this perfect palette of vibe. And the first sight when landing being this great tree of astronomical grandeur and a sky full of so many stars you can barely see any space in between. It really set the mood. Moth fluttered about in the skies above the canopies of cosmology, and in the pools of glitter and stardust sat holographic mushrooms that will 100% have an episode all to its own in the 3rd season of Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. Isn't that right, Hamilton?
I love my iPod. 100 CDs and something that's, you know, that big. So much music. It makes me feel powerful.
Man, I really feel like I'm not allowed to see that. It is forever locked in a state of transitioning autumnal winter, which is made evident by the orange trees losing their leaves in some places, and in other places, having stardust rain down upon it in place of snow. And so now we get to the question, who rules over this cold ambient world? Well, none other than a mysterious figure named the Winter Queen, an overtly tall and rather pretty fairy goddess, who all the inhabitants of Ardenweald have to swear loyalty to. This place just really hits all the right notes. There's no doubting it. This is the place for me. Holy shit, I fucking love the Winter Queen! However, the entire fanbase of World of Warcraft fucking despises Ardenweald. Frankly, I don't give a shit what they have to say, considering that the fanbase consists of an almost perfect 50-50 of gross Redditors on one side and angsty SJWs on the other, much like American politics.
Lamau, you like Ardenweald? What are you, a fucking furry? What are you, a simp? Bruh, what, a fucking weeb? Lamau, bruh, you're kinda sus, Lamau, bruh. Joy emoticon.
I like to shit on the normies who use all of these fucking buzzwords like bruh and simp, but at the end of the day, they're right. I'm a fucking weeb. I'm a fucking simp, but I'm not, and I'll tell you this, I am not a fucking furry. In short, if something cool comes to World of Warcraft, expect several Reddit threads about how shit it is. Well, there's people who liked BFA too, so I guess it's a two-way street, huh? This was a place that Flowerstain felt more accustomed to in comparison to Bastion and Maldraxxus. Upon first arriving, the fairies pull a trick on a sleeping tree spirit, dressing them up in formal hats and attire, all for a good gimmicky laugh. However, the thought then came to Flowerstain rather suddenly, as she stepped her first steps into the realm of fairies and forestry.
Wait, if this is the afterlife, then when I eventually die, I'll end up going to one of these places.
A solemn pause found its way to the rather impressive momentum that this narrative had been taking. Flowerstain considered all the shit she had committed in her tiny lifetime. Maybe if she had stopped at playful acts of selling jokes and fish, there wouldn't be any question of where she would hail to in death. But at this rate, her hands are stained with blood, and her heart is tainted by genocidal hatred and nearly insurmountable greed.
When I am to die,
She said to herself, thinking of the violence and hatred she holstered.
I would never, ever be put in a place like this.
Sadly, Flowerstain continued with more on the mind now than skeleton puns. The message from Maldraxxus still in hand, ready to give to the Winter Queen. But hey, you guessed it, baby! It wouldn't be that easy! You can't ever just walk into a place to get the job done. There's always gotta be some extra fucking steps. Man, is this what it's like being a plumber? Why can't everything just be as easy as eating cereal with a ladle? What, you don't eat cereal with a ladle? What, are you fucking brain dead or are you just pretending? I suppose you put milk in it too. Actually awkward. I'm getting secondhand embarrassment just imagining you questioning my methods. You see, the ladle in design is like a bowl attached to a stick. It is physically superior in consuming cereal than anything else, especially in comparison to a fucking spoon, which is a plate on a stick, if anything. I bet next you'll tell me that you eat cereal with a fork and fucking knife. Surprised you can even afford cereal with such a churlish lifestyle. Spoons. As you can see, using the ladle, I can get more scoop per scoop, and then I get more cereal for every bite that I take, and that's... This post was made by the Cereal Ladle Gang. Ardenweald is the realm of the Shadowlands that gods of the wild go to in death, as well as spirits of nature.
What's up?
It's where some dragons, fairies, plants, and animals go to rest in the peace of death eternally. In other words, it's a prettier deviant art. Those who shared a connection with nature also hail here in death, whether it be furries or druids. Again, much like DeviantArt. When I arrived in Ardenweald, I was met by Lady Moonberry, a fairy who's like the hand of the queen, and I formally requested an audience with the Winter Queen.
Yo, the queen, let me see some of that.
But she's all like, and you won't believe this. No. Lol? The groves of Ardenweald are in chaos. They are wilting, the Spriggans are rising up and stealing the anima from the very land itself. Chaos is brewing, and the queen is very busy attempting to handle it all on her own. So, hey, you know what I do? Yeah, it's a WoW quest line, so Flowerstain is all like, yeah, I'll fix this realm too, why not? Because this place is pretty. Walking the land, I find myself murdering mischievous Spriggans and stealing back the anima, a task that was mildly ambiguous at best, but one that still made Flowerstain feel the awkward new feeling of guilt. Every morally dark task the Goblin now took into consideration being a step closer to eternal damnation in the maw. There was no longer a rush of adrenaline, no longer an oversized smile to be found for chaos. Only a longing stare sandwiched between all the infinities in this realm. But the Goblin kept pumping, baby, and before long things were getting back on track. I'm told that the Winter Queen will be appearing in the Grove of Chernobyl to bless it, and that I could have a chance to speak with her there. Together we prepare the grove, ensuring it is fit for her brilliance to behold. More Spriggans are murdered in cold bloodless massacre, naturally, and I even saved some fairies from getting digested by the gastrointestinal tracts of plants. See, it really is just a prettier deviantart after all. But as a reward for saving the fairies from Vor, I get to witness a seed have nightmares. And that's pretty cool. Everything is all chill and we're laughing and having a good ass time in the forest when suddenly a fuck ton of refugees come running for their lives.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
They're startled by something, running from something. There is chaos brewing, and for once Flowerstain is not delighted to see it. Moonberry begs Flowerstain's help, and I follow the trail against the current of the fleeing. It leads to Heartwood Grove, a place under attack by masks. That's right, baby. The musky mask merchant from Majora's Mask came by early this year with a sack of facial attire that'll surely make you mildly schizophrenic.
Hey man, what's good?
The masks were randomly appearing on the faces of the inhabitants of the grove, and twisting them beyond repair. For once, my tasks didn't involve killing many Spriggans at a political anima acquisition, but rather, it involved attempting to take the masks off of those affected. But it was already too late. The entirety of Heartwood Grove had been drained of anima by the time that I arrived. This place was fucking dead, son. Spitefully, I returned to Chernobyl to speak to the queen, but she doesn't even look my way, regardless of how many times I cry out to her. It was no sweat, however. I am used to being ignored by my queens. Usually at this point I would tier 3 sub, but for some fucking reason there is no tier 3 sub button for the Winter Queen. Yet. She doesn't even have a fucking Patreon. It's ruined. What a shitty fucking expansion. I hate this. And so she went off after blessing the grove, leaving me alone and desperate. Story of my life. I'm told if I want to have any chance of speaking with her, I should ease her burden and chill out the groves of Ardenweald. Flowerstain, with a heavy heart, happily agrees. I hail to Glitterfall Basin, where blighted creatures are making masks. Frankly, it was an American's nightmare. Pretty colors and mask makers. A combo that will surely rile up any Sunday afternoon barbecue. And a combo that riled up the hunters who tend to the groves as well. I attend to them, aiding them to the best of my ability, and taking out one of their centers of command. A fallen fae who used to be dear friends with the captain of the hunters. The chaos seems to be calming a bit, and with the newfound news of the mask makers, I head back to Chernobyl, only to see it being torn to shreds. Yeah, remember that fucking seed that was having nightmares? Well, that ended up being a bad thing. Seeds apparently shouldn't have nightmares, apparently. So, you know me, baby. Hey, I go in there and I murder the nightmares and I soothe the seed. My wording could have been better. From my extensive knowledge of dissociatives and hallucinogens, I tell the seed,
Ayo, it's pretty chill once the come up anxiety is over.
and it calms down, going right back to dreaming like normal seeds do. Things start to pick up here, and I'm told,
Ayo, bring this seed to Hibernal Howl, so a dude can cleanse it of his nightmares, cause seeds shouldn't be having nightmares, cause that's fucking weird.
and I agree. On the road, I aid hunters who are in heated battles with the masked blighted fays, and they agree to accompany me to Hibernal Hollow and protect me from anything that may be in harm's way. Upon reaching our destination, however, I am told that the seed cannot be cleansed, for there is not enough anima. Ardenweald was practically dry of it. Like a fucking moron, I'm all like, aye, cool, so where's the anima? And they're all like, there's a bunch of anima in this place called Turnanok, but you should not go there. Please do not go there because great, I'll be right back. Well, I go to Turnanok against their wishes to suck the anima from the place and successfully do so, fighting past the corrupted fairies as I went. Dude, what's the big deal? Why did they tell me not to come here? It's just a couple fairies. The fuck? Did they think I couldn't handle it? Though I soon learned that it was because the corrupted fairies are all drawn to anima. And now that I held a huge fucking boatload of it in my hands, all the bad fairy guys across Ardenweald were now attracted to me. I basically turned myself into a magnet for pissed off mask folk. Is this what it's like to have an American flag in my username and a dog profile picture on Twitter? Returning post-haste, I focus all the anima into the seed or some shit and delve into the very dreams of it. Dreams of their death, of their corruption and transition. It ends up that it's not a seed at all, but rather the soul of a dragon that was stuck in it. Like I said, deviant art. But within the dreams, I cleanse them of nightmares and help the soul let go of the past in a way that Flowerstain would not be able to do for quite some time. The nightmares stop, and I return to my conscious self, only to be met face first with the whole army of corruption. Lorcron the Hunter, the corrupted fae that brainlessly leads them, is on the front lines with them this time, and with my confused goblin hands, I strike him and many others down. A great battle is fought over the anima, and in the process, the dreaming seed is gashed open. The only hope for the seed is to be blessed by the Winter Queen herself, and so all threads tie together, and I once again head to have an audience with her. Upon meeting her, she takes the soul from the seed and binds them to Ardenweald forever. The Queen turns her attention to me, and I'm finally able to deliver the message to her. Flushed and shy, I hand the message to her, the message that reads of the banished one, handsome Squidward, and states that he is stealing all the anima and raising an army in the maw. Distressed and solemnly, the Queen shows me the heart of Ardenweald, which was once used long ago to keep handsome Squidward tied to the maw, though now it is wilting and even all the anima in Ardenweald wouldn't be enough to repair it. But there's still hope. Anima is a life force after all, at the very roots of it. And what is the best at sucking the very life force out of something? No, not RuneScape, but that's pretty damn close. Vampires. They suck in every way. And so the Grand Thick Queen of Ardenweald thanks me, tells me that I am her ally, and that she will do anything for me. All that without even a tier 1 sub. Yeah, who's laughing now? She says her farewells and sends me to my final destination, to the sin-fallen castles of Revendreth, to speak to Sire Denathrius, the vampire king of the ashy Gothic land, for he knows best in stealing anima from others, and may be able to help in fixing the heart of Ardenweald, and keeping handsome Squidward tied to the maw. Once more, I am sent on a tapeworm through the anus of the cosmos, and am shut out on the other side, though personally, I would much rather be stuck in a cosmic anus on a worm than spend any more time in this fucking place. Entered Revendreth, I guess.
Ah, yes, my favorite. This piece is exquisite. Well, call me Carson. Is that A minor? Outstanding. Elegant.
Fucking dope.
This party is ballin'.
Yes, sire, I agree.
Want to commence with sex? What?
Fusty, accursed remains of castle towns and royal cities, crumbled statues, forests of red-soaked brusheth, walls taller than mountains and fields of ash yon stretcheth to the horizon. Gothic and ruined it lays, the sinful land that sits lingering in the shadow cast by the red-black capital of Castle Nathria. Scourged mortal souls square amongst their pasts and egos in seemingly constant torture, in a bleak land where anima is taxed and famine grows rampant. A place I fucking hated questing in, but a cool place nonetheless. The concept of Revendreth alone was groovy enough to make me not want to shove my head in the freezer until I stopped breathing, so at least there's an upside to this shit. But yeah, those who sinned in life but still had room for redemption are sent here in death. Upon their soul's arrival, they are given a stone with all their sins written on it. It varies in size depending on how many sins you committed and how severe they were. For example, if the only shit thing I did in my life was shove an old lady down a flight of stairs for the hell of it, I'd probably get a small tablet with just the single sin written on it. But if I was a dude who was forced into, say, murdering thousands of people in cold blood, then I'd probably receive a big-ass boulder. The stone is then bound to you, and you are forced to carry it with you until you are able to redeem yourself and accept your sins. The souls are often tortured until they reconcile, and many methods are used, depending on why you were sent here to begin with. For example, if you lived a life of striking fear into the weak, you are deemed to run blindly through a seemingly infinite forest of dread until you are able to let your past go. Very fun stuff. Though upon witnessing this sight firsthand, Flowerstain had a psychological calamity. It dawned on her that this was surely the place that she would head to in death. An edgy, emo, generic zone with escort quests. The air smelled ashy, and there was no wind, no sound. It was desolate as it was frightening. If Ardenweald brought an unpredictable warmth to this goblin, Revendreth brought an undeniable fear. She did not wish to head to a place like this.
I'm going to be different.
She told herself.
I'm gonna pop the fuck off.
From a greedy goblin hell-bent on killing those who denied her, to whatever one would have to be to get into Ardenweald. So anyways, upon arriving, I request an audience with Sire Denathrius. Shocker, right? It's kind of like that's how every single zone is started. Hey, can I talk to your leader? No. But this time, they just kind of replied with,
Alright, yeah, let's go.
I was like, alright. Sweet. And so we hop into a carriage. Well, that was easy. Damn. Maybe the zone isn't too bad after. But then, rebels ambushed me out of nowhere and destroyed the fucking carriage. But why? I learned then that rebellions are popping up across Revendreth, for the starved people believe that Sire Denathrius has been hoarding anima, and is responsible for the anima shortages across the lands. That makes no sense, however, considering that he is the leader of Revendreth, and he's a big red-eyed vampire king. He's obviously super chill, and he wouldn't just, do that. It makes no sense. Come on now. I am told that if I can chill out the rebellion, the royalty of Revendreth will be more than happy to help me with the heart of Ardenweald. It seems way too easy. It all seems way too fucking easy, but you know what? I like easy, so what the the fuck else? What the fuck else was I gonna do? So, there's this person named the Accuser, and they, you won't believe this, accused Sire Denathrius of stealing all the anima and causing the drought. Obviously, the lords and ladies find the Accuser to be less than desirable, and I aid in taking them and sending them far away to be tortured or some shit. I don't know. I barely paid attention because this place was just honestly so fucking boring despite having a cool story. I do some stuff, but then the Accuser is like,
Hey, come with me, moron.
and kidnaps me and shit and brings me to Castle Nathria, the capital of Revendreth. And inside of Castle Nathria are none other than hundreds, if not thousands of canisters of anima, hoarded and stored away. Well, shit. Would you look at that? The big evil vampire guy ended up being big and evil and a vampire. What? No. What? That's crazy. He has red eyes. There's no way he could be evil. What? I never would have been able to guess. The big evil vampire guy ended up being fucking evil. They really tore the rug out from under me this time. Really just fucking blew this one out of the ballpark. Woo! Fucking Game of Thrones Season 8 writers should take a page out of this guy's book, huh? Or maybe they should take pages out of the actual books instead. Fucking stupid. Now that I know the truth, however, the lords and ladies of Revendreth have turned their backs on me, and Sire Denathrius, the last hope for Ardenweald, set his eyes on me with the intent of taking me out for good. Well, shit. He was our last hope, and he just kinda ended up being an evil god. Fuck. I hate when that happens. It's like the third time this week. Flowerstain joins the rebellion for better or for worse and allies with Prince Renethal, who used to be a close companion of Sire Denathrius and major part of his court. Haha, yo, I'm Renethal. Blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff happens, and I go to Lothric from Dark Souls 3 for a bit. I'm not kidding. Look at this place. I literally made a new character in Dark Souls 3 just to show you how similar it is. Like, it's literally Lothric Castle. Even the fucking bonfires. I'm not making this shit up. And you know what? I fucking loved it. The Lothric place had the shittiest quests imaginable, but one of the coolest aesthetics out there. Fucking popping on $1.50.5, yo. Speaking of boring quests, it didn't take me long to realize that a large majority of the quests in Revendreth were rather redundant and, dare I say, fucking boring. Escort mission after escort mission after escort mission. Walk from point A to point B, but don't go too fast, cause then the NPC can't catch up. And then the NPCs move at the worst speed imaginable too, so if you, the player, are walking, the NPCs are slightly too fast, and if you, the player, are running, they are slightly too slow. It's fucking mind-boggling how boring some of these quests were, and this is coming from an avid old-school RuneScape fiend. I would rather go out and get 99 rune crafting on a no-bank hardcore Iron Man blindfolded with my dick strapped behind my back than do any more Revendreth quests. That's just how fucking boring it is. I have literally thousands of hours of sitting and clicking the same item over and over again to gain small amounts of XP to slowly level up skills that don't do anything outside of show the fact that I've leveled them up. No, really. I even started a career as a RuneScape rapper at one point like Jimmy. I mean it. Yeah. I got... Shit. Wait. Smoking the fucking critical kush, motherfucker. Bitch. I got a skill cape for wasting my time. I took your bitch's jugs and I made some fucking wine. The shit was so efficient, bitch, I thought it was a crime. Awake for 30 hours, all of which I spent online. Sitting in this posture, man, it fucked up my spine. The go live button, man, it looking real fine. Lurkers in my chat, speak bitch, you ain't a mime. The least y'all could do is throw your boy a Twitch Prime. Bars! I didn't actually start a career as a RuneScape rapper. I just wanted to do a creative ad insert. Go follow my Twitch. I stream like every day. Alright, so now I may not be able to come up to par on the level of Ian from Smosh with lines such as riding over your click like the Delaware sun, I get my face on the dollar before this shit's done, but I like to think that I'm close. But as I was saying, yes, I have amassed hundreds of hours doing the same tasks over and over again, with the payoff being quite literally the bragging rights of saying that I did them. But at least in RuneScape you get capes for redundancy. In Revendreth, you just get the urge to fucking beat your dick off with a brick. I can't stress just how much I dislike this zone. If this really is where the morally ambiguous go, I don't blame Flowerstain for taking a 180 and fucking switching it up a bit. This place, and I mean it when I say this, fucking blows. But after all the boring shit, a battle of grandeur was fought in the courtyards of the enormous castle, using mirrors and shit to burn the vampires to ash, and that was pretty groovy. But then, it is learned that all the anima that Sire Denathrius hoarded wasn't for himself, it was for handsome Squidward.
Make away, you slut.
No way. No. And he's all like...
Oh, fuck all y'all. Y'all can go suck a caterpillar dick.
And does this big magical explosion shit and sends all the anima he had been keeping to the maw. And, you know, that's really fucking bad. That means we lost. It's over. The bad guys actually won. And then I'm giving a couple gold, some experience until I go fuck myself. I wasn't even level 60 yet either. I was level 59 and just inches away from level 60. What a fucked up day. 20 minutes later, I do a dungeon and dang that solid 60, the perfect pristine level cap. And then I am instantly sent back to Oribos. With all the newfound information and all the 4 realms of the Shadowlands now in my debt, I was to make a decision. I had to pick one realm and ally myself to them. I'm sure this will come as a wild surprise to you, but I didn't really want to be chilling with the Zavala gamer angels, even though I could look up their skirts. I didn't really want to spend my days inhaling the spores of flesh mushrooms and swim around in plagued mucus either, and so the downtown bus stop just wasn't my cup of tea. And the edgy dark hate my dad Tumblr page really wasn't pulling for me either. Believe it or not, I pledged my soul to the Winter Queen and to the Night Fae Covenant. It's the only right path for this feeble flower fairy, and the only right path for me.
No, you can't just choose the covenant you want. You have to choose the most optimal one.
Haha, the Mothko King. But yeah, okay, all melodrama aside, the story was kinda cool. Very poppin'. Solid something out of 10. I don't know. Oh yeah, it was cool. Check it out. But the real game is what happens after leveling. We now take a final nosedive into the Endgame. And no, I'm not referring to the garbage Redditor movie where the only gimmick was killing characters that lacked any characterization. I'm referring to the game at the end of leveling, which is called, believe it or not, Endgame. Because it's at the end of the game. If you aren't already aware, leveling in WoW is always a tutorial. It prepares you for whatever content awaits you at the endgame, seeing that this is where you'll be spending 99% of the expansion. And this time was no different. You get a taste of each of the 4 covenants through their zones, faction leaders, stories, and abilities, and upon reaching 60 are forced into the crucial choice of picking one to ally yourself with. The content that follows will be bent around your covenant of choice, and so no matter which path you take, you're in for a unique experience. The endgame structure is pretty similar to the rest of the game, albeit you're not rewarded dopamine points for doing tasks, but rather chances at superior armor, weapons, and accessories. By running difficult dungeons, doing world quests, advancing your level with your covenant, crafting legendaries, doing dailies, weeklies, raids, PvP, and all sorts of other content, you steadily increase what's called your item level, a score derivative of the average level of each item you currently have equipped. It's the light level from Destiny. The further you advance your item level, the stronger you become, and the more content is unlocked for you to accomplish. Content that then rewards you with even stronger items, so on and so forth. It's a seemingly endless roller coaster, and although it sounds unbelievably boring and dreadful, I found that I already have a few hundred hours on Flowerstain alone, since Shadowlands dropped a couple weeks ago, and a couple hundred hours on other characters too, especially my paladin. The concept of doing world quests across the 4 different parts of the Shadowlands for anima to turn in at your covenant's capital for rewards and rank ups is so fucking addicting. But what sets this expansion apart from the others is its illustrious addition of the Tower of Torghast in Mordor, a roguelike gauntlet system, a tower that extends eternally with each level being more challenging than the last. There are traps, hordes of enemies, and around every corner lies a new buff for your character. No matter what, it doesn't stop getting better. Even when I was running this as an assassination rogue, the objectively worst class in the entire fucking video game, I was having a blast. I did end up switching it up a bit and using subtlety rogue, and I must say the difference was not subtle. That's a joke. Take a look at this run where I was able to make my Crimson Vial have no cooldown and have all my combo point generating abilities deal an extra 450% increased damage after spending any combo points. The ceiling of how strong you can become is fucking crazy. Crazy. That is crazy. Each of the bosses that I faced in Torghast were remarkably challenging as a rogue as well. Well, some more than others, but even if they were, at the end of the day, just really big gear checks, they were actually fucking fun. Using a shitty class makes it so that you actually have to use your brain in an MMO for once. And so I had a really good time. Because I have a fucking huge brain. My IQ is 725.2 and a half. Grabbing the best combination of perks and creating unique builds for every run is addictive as fuck. Even though I just keep barely getting away with my life at every encounter, and with every layer it only gets rougher, I just keep coming back. I can now relate to heroin addicts on a level I never thought possible. Completing floors on the Tower of Torghast rewards you with soul ass. Soul Ash, a currency that is essential in the acquisition, crafting, and upgrading of legendary items. I doubt I have to explain what legendary items are, for even the moronic few who let 90% of the jokes in this video fly over their heads understand that legendary equals kinda fucking powerful. I ended up making a rather fucking baffling decision, however, and crafted one of the dumbest legendaries I could, because I misread a text box. The fruit of my labor. I grinded out many floors in Torghast, killed many bosses, did many quests. I bought the fucking pieces I required. I got the piece I needed crafted, and I grinded out my legendary memory. And now I present to you my legendary of choice, the Toxic Bladed Boots. The perk on these boots allowed my Shiv ability to deal an increased 350% increased damage, and no longer cost energy. You see, I thought that Shiv didn't have a cooldown, so I yoinked this, believing I would be able to spam Shiv for combo points without losing energy, but it turns out that I was, as one would say, fucking stupid. Shiv has like a 30-second cooldown, which I was not aware of. It's still useful regardless, and I wouldn't really go back on my decision, but I mean, come on. Would you want to turn down something called the Toxic Bladed Boots Yeah, exactly. There are thousands of things to do at every second, and somehow it just doesn't get boring. Oh, there's a world boss up that drops a mount. Let's kill it together and get the fucking mount. Oh, there's another world boss, but this one is a raid level boss and requires 50 or 60 people to kill. Fuck, that's easy. Let's go. Shit. What? Shit. There's a new layer to Torghast this week? Damn, that looks fun, but I'm a rogue, so I'll just sit this one out. Alright. Hope you guys are having fun. And all the world quests that reset daily and weekly are all unique and interesting. Knock knock. It's Flappy Bird. Yo, it's Mario Kart. What's popping? It's mushroom time. Everything is so, dare I say, fun. But as Ramsay Bolton tells Theon time and time again, it doesn't end there, baby! The quest that I was to do to swear myself to the Winter Queen was one of the best quests in this entire video game. You put on a stage play for the Queen, prepared by you and the other fairies to tell a comprehensible story of Azeroth. In the process, however, you give a dragon detrimental PTSD by telling them that Sylvanas the Generic randomly burnt the cool tree that everyone loves. But this is DeviantArt, so dragon PTSD was only bound to happen eventually. The Fays would forget their lines or go off script. They'd have wardrobe malfunctions or go too far into their roles. There was so much character in every second of the quest's narrative. I never once felt anything close to this when doing any quests in BFA zone. After the play we put on for the Winter Queen, everyone takes their bow and she gracefully accepts me as I swear eternal loyalty to her and her alone. With each covenant there is a season pass-like leveling system that allows you 40 levels with said covenant, each level giving you a unique reward and eventually rewarding you with mounts. Niloai Mihat, I'm the only one who has a father. Cosmetics and titles. Each armor set is unique to each class and covenant combination as well, so there is a seemingly infinite amount of covenant grinding to do if you want to grab every cosmetic there is. As of writing this video script, I am ranked 21 with the Night Fae Covenant, since you're only allowed 3 levels per week to try and prevent the unloved addicts who would blast through this entire system in mere days. And even after only just barely touching the tip of the iceberg, I was able to snag myself this beautiful moth backpack.
These moths are good, man. King.
Oh, and this one too. Bangin' fucking backpack, yo. Look at this shit. How could you not love this? This is literally the best item in this entire fucking game. Well, next to the autumnal flower crown, but the drop rate on this shit has to be lower than getting Ashes of Alar twice in a row because I've done this dungeon 30 fucking times so far and haven't even seen it mentioned. I almost hope in future patches they add more to covenants, or at least more areas in the Shadowlands, considering there are in fact infinite realms. And if there are in fact infinite realms of the afterlife in WoW lore, that means that one realm exists solely for Sammys, funny men who snap their fingers and tell joke but who are all dead. I bet it would be a rather funny place. The texture of every surface would be smiling like those old smiling stickers you would get at Walmart, and the very wind would always be laughing. The trees would be made of pure joke essence, and their branches would snap their fingers and chuckle. What a place that would be. I wanted to theory craft a bit, and I went to see if maybe I could get into the Sammyverse early by doing a Sammy speedrun, but I didn't exactly go anywhere. The soul of Sammy just kind of sits there now on my character selection screen. Yeah. Man. Rest in peace, Sammy. There's also Mordor, the final zone of the Shadowlands, which is an entirely level 60 unique zone. It is completely full to the brim with endgame content, though a lot of it is kind of boring. You go around every day and kill bosses, much like the pre-patch event, and are given this stuff called Stygia, or Stygia. I just call it sticky shit. And then you turn that shit in, and you can get buffs and Torghast, and buy other things as well, and it's kind of cool. You cannot ride your mount in them all, and so a lot of people fucking hate it. I don't hate it for that reason, I just hate it because it's just fucking, it just got old really quick. Also, the aesthetic is literally fucking Mordor from Lord of the Rings, so that's a plus. The only thing I wish they did was have a literal eye on a tower somewhere that's watching you, instead of just having this horseshoe at the top of your screen and call it an eye. It's kind of lame, but I digress. So now with the 4 realms sworn together with the sole purpose in mind of defending and repairing the Arbiter, getting anima flowing once more, and defeating handsome Squidward in the Maw, all eyes are set with bated breath to the behemoth that is Castle Nathria. The biggest part of the game, an epic 10-boss raid, with hundreds of mechanics and thousands of morons. This is where the true endgame lies, a place where you and 20 other players tackle the hardest challenges the game has to offer. Inside sit the many monstrous vampiric beings who allied themselves with handsome Squidward for political gain, and at the top sits the devious sire Denathrius himself, a huge antagonist and major piece in the game that handsome Squidward was playing. Now sworn to the Night Fae, our Goblin heroine fashions herself in the aesthetic woodland attire of such, in an attempt to dramatically tear herself away from the spiteful Goblin in black. With solemn eyes and a neck that ached from looking back so much, Flowerstain stepped their first step on the road of hopeful redemption, with one final high mountain salmon left in her inventory. She meets a lowly Goblin knight named Copernicus.
Yo, what's good with it?
Yo, you talking to me?
You talking to me?
Copernicus. Peft.
Are you, in fact, talking to me? Don't get me started.
I ain't talking to you.
Oh,
I'm talking through you.
Oh.
I'm gonna go smack the mins, and to be loud a bit quiet.
I'ma go to the packy. You need anything?
A Big Mac would be nice, but I don't like them.
Oh well, hell yeah. Have a nice life or whatever.
Wait. Actually,
Oh, yeah?
take it. Take it away from me.
Well, how did you know?
I'm letting this life of mine in the past. Now go save the universe. Or something I don't fucking know.
She gives him the salmon, free of charge, and wishes him a good day out of nothing but sheer will that he has one. And with that final transaction, as Flowerstain gave away the final High Mountain salmon, she also symbolically gave away the last of who she was. She was a fool, hanging by the ankle now. The world reversed, and her tainted goblin heart, she still held a grudge to those who shut her out. But when confronted, the Fae determined that maybe she was shut out by the others because she wasn't worth keeping. This goblin wanted to change that.
I want to be worth more than what I'm trying to sell.
No matter how rich she was, how poor she may become, it matters not in death. The coins in her pockets went from golden riches to meaningless metal circles. The sky was the ground was the sky. Her eyes were of different hue, as was her spirit and her endeavor. She knew if she continued to live a life of sin, she would be cast away to either Revendreth or the Maw when she is to die. And that's not the hell she wishes to spend eternity after life. By defeating Sire Nathria and repairing the heart of Ardenweald, she would surely snag a spot in Ardenweald after life. And so this is where our tale halts. The ticking clock strikes 12, and the ingresses of the Gothic castle are unfastened. The champions of Azeroth ride to the occasion, and for once the diligent Flowerstain is by their side. With no greedy intent in mind, she peers up, way up, to the points of the distant spires, in hopes of seeing the top, but it's so far away that it lays concealed behind the smog and pollution of a sin-fallen overbearing atmosphere. A lonesome grey ambience falls still over Revendreth, as the entirety of the multiverse is laid on the frail shoulders of one small fairy. Though there is no question, Flowerstain is to extract the vindication she aspires for, even if it means delving into this undisclosed darkness, where no feeble flower fairy had ever even dared to have delved before.
Smoke in my mouth.